On the morning of December 31st, 2000, an elderly woman in Tokyo, Japan, walked into her daughter's home and found something so horrific, so confusing that even 20 years later, it still makes no sense. Her daughter, her son-in-law, and her 2 grandchildren were all dead. But this wasn't just a murder, because whoever did this didn't run. He stuck around. He made himself comfortable. He treated the house like it was his. He used their toilet. He ate their food. He even logged into the family's computer. And then he vanished, leaving behind his blood, his clothes, his fingerprints. He left behind everything. But somehow, no one knows who he is. This is the story of the Miyazawa family murders. And you're not gonna believe how this one ends. The Miyazawa family lived in Setagaya, a quiet suburb in western Tokyo. Mikio, the dad, worked for a marketing firm. He was serious and hardworking. Yasuko, the mom, taught classes from home and is known for being incredibly kind. Their daughter Nina was 8, and their youngest, Rei, was just 6. They lived in a 2-story house at the edge of a public park. But here's where things start to feel a little off. The area around their house used to be full of neighbors, but the government had started buying out homes to expand the park, so by the end of 2000, almost everyone had moved. The Miyazawas were one of the only families left. They were surrounded by vacant houses and construction fencing. It was quiet, isolated, and they were set to move soon. But they never got the chance. So on the night of December 30th, someone entered the Miyazawa home, and they didn't come through the front door. Investigators later found that the killer climbed a tree in the backyard, shimmied across a fence, and slipped through a second-floor bathroom window. Once inside, the intruder didn't sneak around. He went straight to the bedroom of 6-year-old Rei and strangled him to death. Now, at this point, the dad Mikio, he heard all of this going on, and so he rushed upstairs and he came face to face with the killer. There's a brutal fight, and the attacker stabs Mikio over and over so violently that the knife actually snaps in half. The killer goes downstairs, grabs another knife from the kitchen, then heads back up to finish what he started. He stabbed Yasuko and Nina, the mother and daughter, and just like that, the Miyazawa family was gone. But the story doesn't end there. Most murderers panic. They flee. They try to cover their tracks. But this guy, he stayed. Not for seconds, not for minutes, for hours. We know this because of what he did next, and it's some of the most bizarre behavior you'll ever hear in a murder case. He ate 4 ice cream cups from the family's freezer. He used their computer to log onto a website. He used the toilet and didn't flush. He took a nap on the living room couch. Now, the last theory of him taking a nap, some say it was true, but investigators also say that it's not true. But one of the disturbing things is that he bandaged his own injuries using the family's first aid kit. It's like he wasn't worried about being caught at all. Like, he was in no rush to leave, but he eventually did. And when he left, he didn't take anything. In fact, he left everything behind. This guy left a crime scene overflowing with evidence. He left behind a jacket, a scarf, and a hip bag, all not from the house. He left behind his fingerprints all over the place. He left behind his blood, likely from a hand injury during the attack. A broken knife purchased at a store in Japan, clothing that could be traced back to a specific retail location. What's even more bizarre, inside the hip bag, police found grains of sand that matched a riverbank in South Korea. When they analyzed the DNA in the blood, it told them something even stranger. The killer was male, and his ancestry was mixed. Part East Asian, part Southeast Asian. His father was likely of East Asian descent, maybe Japanese or Korean, and his mother from Southeast Asia. So you have a mountain of evidence. You have DNA, fingerprints, blood, personal belongings. This should have been an open and shut case, but it wasn't. The Japanese police launched one of the biggest investigations in their history. Over 12,500 people were interviewed. Over 1,000 police officers were assigned to the case, and there were DNA and fingerprint tests on thousands of suspects. And they still came up with nothing. There were no matches, no motive, no suspect. Some theorized that the killer was a homeless person, maybe just looking for shelter, but that doesn't explain the level of violence or why they stayed. Others thought it might have been a professional hit, but why leave all of the evidence? Then there's the theory that the killer was a foreign national, maybe military, who fled Japan immediately after the murders. That might explain the sand, the unique clothing sizes, the DNA, but again, no one knows. Today, the Miyazawa house still stands. It's all boarded up now, overgrown with weeds. Police still visit it. Investigators still return each year to try and stir up new leads. And every year, the public is reminded. Despite all the evidence, despite all the effort, the person who murdered 4 innocent people and made himself at home in their house was never found. Every year around the anniversary, the police reopen the case to the public, hoping someone, somewhere knows something. But as of today, no one has been arrested. Despite the evidence, despite the clues, the killer who destroyed an entire family walked away and disappeared. Hey everyone, thank you for making it to the end of the video. Clearly you're into true crime stories, so all I ask is that you like, subscribe, and comment. And if you don't, that's cool too. But if you're interested in stories like this, one of the more mysterious and strange stories that I've covered was a story about Carl Tanzler. He is someone that actually robbed a grave and took her to his makeshift laboratory that was made out of an old airplane. And so that's all I'm going to say about it. And if you're interested in that video, you can go and watch it. Now, next week, we are going to get into a story called The 8-Day Bride. And the autopsy report said that she died by drowning in 9 inches of water, but there were inconsistencies in that report. And that's all I'm going to say about it. So I'll see you next week.